Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel. Our schools are all locked down at the moment due to the pandemic to protect our students and our teachers. But on the other hand, our teachers are being affected so much because their income is no more at the moment and we don't know what the future holds. Will the schools all come back or will they have their jobs? We don't know. But what are we doing to kind of remember them? They're doing such a great job. Even for parents, you know that you cannot cope right now without these kids in school. So what are we doing? Hello and welcome to my channel, creating, maintaining and enjoying your professional life. So to those of you that don't know already, on this channel we discuss all things education and the transition from education to employment. So to those of you that are new, welcome, and please leave your contribution and subscribe to my channel as well. So today we're going to be concentrating on the fact that the future of our teachers is unknown. We don't know what's happening in their lives now. Now we know that the pandemic is going on and most schools, or not, if not all schools, are currently closed. Now for teachers who are under contract in some countries, they're still being paid. Maybe a little, not all their salary, but they're being paid. But there are teachers who are not on contract and unfortunately they're at home not being paid. So how do they look after their families? How are they coping? How are they paying their rent? How are they even looking after their lives in general? That's the concern that we have here today. So to some of you that know, maybe in the government schools, some teachers, maybe for example in Uganda, they're being paid. I don't know. So if you know, please let me know, because I've tried to find that information and it's not clear. So does that mean they're not being paid? I don't know. If you know, please come back and let me know. But in private schools, they're definitely not being paid. And who is to blame? Because the school owners or the directors or proprietors, whatever they are, they're able to pay these people because of the income that comes out of the school fees, and then give it to them, or pay salaries to the teachers. Now that the salaries are no longer there, what's happening? So we cannot blame them because they cannot pay them. And to those that are able to pay, how long are they going to carry on paying individuals who are sitting at home doing nothing? And can they sustain it? That's the question. So if you have any answer to these things, please help us. But at the moment, we want to be a voice. We want to put it out there so that our teachers are currently being helped. I've also got another concern. The schools that are currently closed, the private schools, how many are actually going to be able to reopen once the pandemic is done, or once they've been given a go-ahead? How many of those? Now, there are some who will be able to open because they own their own buildings and therefore they'll probably be like they're starting again. But there are those who were just renting and they have to continue pay the premises that they use for their activities. Are they going to be able to afford this business? That's another question. Do you have an answer? Please help me. I've also got another sort of concern or a call out to parents. If you are parents and you still currently work and you have your job, don't you think that you should take some time and join my campaign so that we help teachers, especially those in Uganda or even anywhere in the country where you are and you feel that there's a teacher who has been so good, like, they were doing well, they looked after your kids properly, they made sure they learn. What have you done to kind of give them a gift of appreciation? The time is now. There's no better time to offer someone a present than the time where they cannot afford it. That's the best time. So if you're there and you feel like you want to appreciate a teacher, please, let's do it. Just pick any teacher that you want, whether you know them, whether you just want to offer to any teacher, or you just want to pick a teacher from your school. Pick one. Let us know and let's appreciate them. We are organizing a function to make sure that we celebrate our teacher as soon as possible. I want to raise funds for teachers, full stop. The next things are parents. The reason why I actually mentioned this, most of you know that you won't be able to work if your kids are always at home. So in the beginning, if you will remember, at the beginning when the pandemic just kind of appeared, all parents, like the first week, the second week, they're complaining, oh my goodness, we cannot wait. Can we take, the kids back to school so that we get a break from them, or so that we can actually be able to go back and work? And unfortunately, it hasn't happened. How are you coping with your kids at home if you've got like 10, okay, not 10, like if you've got more than 2, or if you've got more than what you can handle? How are you coping? Don't you think that these teachers are actually worth, a thank you, now that you understand that it's not about just taking your kids at school and leave them there? Don't you think they deserve a thank you? So if you were a teacher out there and you actually sort of happy with what I'm saying, or kind of agree with what I'm saying, I want you to come out and say something about what I'm talking about. Now, parents, this is the time. If you have anything you want to appreciate a teacher, you could also just go to the school, find a teacher and give them something. Just let us know so that we can actually encourage other people to go ahead and also do the same thing. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is actually education online. What does the future look like for our teachers if all education is actually put online? Does this mean they're going to lose all their jobs? Well, we knew that already, that jobs will kind of decrease if they're more online and whatever studying. That's the case. But how are students able to actually cope with that, someone explaining what they're seeing on the screen? How are they good at listening to radios and TVs and all these things that are being presented, that's where education is gonna go? How are we able to cope with that? Losing teachers' jobs, students being left behind because they're listening to the radio, they can't really hear or understand the accent of whoever's talking. Or another thing I wanted to bring up, this online or digital training. I've seen a lot of YouTubes or videos or TVs training. How many students are actually receiving that education? You understand that deep down in the village, we have kids that their parents have never even held, owned a mobile phone. They can't even afford sugar. They can barely afford school fees. And now you're trying to tell them you are going to buy a TV, you're gonna, put in electricity, because some people don't even have it, but you're now telling them they have to have electricity so that they can be able to support the kids to do their digital learning. You are going to be able to find a location where they can sit and be able to hear and understand. How viable is this solution? Is this going to work for everybody? Are we sure that we're not leaving some kids behind? I don't know. Some of these questions, I leave it to the Ministry of Education, because when you really think about it, even so far for now, there are many kids that have no even, even parents that have not even have an idea. They have no idea that education is going on online, because all they know is walk into the school and knock that the school is open or closed, and that's it, and that's all they know. So I wanted to put this here as well. Future of our educators, are they going to have any jobs? Are we trying to tell them to kind of think of plan B? Anyway, I always encourage everybody to kind of be like me. Okay, not be like me completely, but what I meant by that, I always have plan B. Okay, God first, then I have my career, I have my business, I have everything I'm doing. So you can never find me there saying that, oh, I've run out of options. I'm always working, I'm always doing something. How many teachers are actually doing the same thing? I'm going to give an example. So to those of you that don't know or know, I own a school. So I'm talking out of experience, if I may say. There are teachers who actually are employed, and they requested for somewhere to kind of have plantation and whatever, and now when the pandemic came in, they were able to actually find food because they use their physical hand to plant some seeds and basically do farming, and then be able to get something to eat out, but there are those who never did anything about it. So this should be a lesson for you to understand that for someone to be multi-talented, sometimes it's not an option, it's a must, because you don't know what the future holds. So I've talked about online education. What do you think about it? It might end up being a no-no, unless we're going to be able to give every student or every home a TV, a radio, a room, an electricity bill, and all these things, unless we're going to be able to afford that. If not, let's rethink all the governments before you introduce all these kind of things. Now, to those of you that own schools, it is time to think twice. It's time to think about when schools are reopened, are you going to focus on actually giving, continuing to give quality education, or are you going to concentrate your mind only on profit? And if that's the case, there's going to be a problem. So let's think about that as well. This thing has affected everybody, all of us. Some of us somehow lucky that on top of other things, we also got jobs, and these jobs all continued. That's the lucky bit. Now, a question someone will ask, Leah, are you currently paying your teachers? No, I am not. It is not a good thing, but I cannot afford it because the money comes from the school and then it goes to the teachers and to the maintenance of the school. So this is why I put out a call to the governments that to all our educators, let's do something for them in a season like this. Let's not just forget them, because our countries need education, and these are the people that are going to educate our kids, that are going to educate our future leaders. They're going to educate just normal people to live, in a country peacefully. So let's do something about it. While we think about doing a lump sum for musicians, lump sum for leaders, lump sum for MPs and whatever, let's not forget them. Let's do something for them. And to you teachers, I am putting a call out to you. So anyone who wants to come and talk, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's put our voices out there and help our teachers. Now, just to remind you, if you have any teacher that you want to appreciate, the time is now. They'll be so grateful if they receive that call and say, hello, guess what? I want to appreciate you for the work, and I know what you're going through might be tough, but here's something to say thank you for looking after my child during school time and for just being a good teacher, providing the education. And we know that there's probably nothing that is feeding you right now, but we know we love you as parents. And to those of you that do not have anybody or a teacher that you want to appreciate in particular and you want to reach out, you can reach out to me. To those of you that know, I have a registered charity, fully functional, and we can do something. We can raise, these are the things I'm ready to raise funds for. And we appreciate teachers because I know they're suffering. So if you're not able to reach teachers yourself, reach out to me and let's appreciate. And we'll be bringing these teachers to show you what it makes them feel to receive, a gift. So watch out. I am going to be bringing you a few teachers that are already being gifted by, different people, and I look forward to see you. So do not hesitate to help out if you can. We love our teachers. We love what they do, and we'll continue to support them. Please stay